Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to be another sculpting video. It's part of a doll that's from the Calgary Zoo project. So this one's going to be a king penguin chick. So I'm going to go through the whole process of sculpting the head for this king penguin chick. It was something a little bit different that I haven't actually made before. I haven't made a penguin before, so I was really excited to make one. So yeah, keep watching if you want to see how I sculpted it. Alright, so for this particular one, and for all these dolls, I'm going to be using some glass cabochon for eyes, and I usually paint them in. You can also buy them, or you can also use photo paper to put it behind. Maybe I'll do a video on that in the future, so let me know in the comments if you're interested in different ways to make eyes. I can make a video regarding that. So I usually Google what the pupils look like beforehand, and discovered that penguin chicks or penguins have square pupils. So it was really interesting to actually paint something different than a circle for a pupil. So yeah, really cool. I'm using acrylic paints for these. I'd recommend just doing some little tests and stuff before you actually go ahead and embed them into your polymer clay or resin, because sometimes they can have a reaction. Different sort of materials can have a different reaction with different stuff. So I found if I use certain paints or even nail polish or something like that, it sometimes has a reaction to the polymer clay. So I can make a video, I can put that in the video of eyes, and yeah, I can just give you a little update about my experiences with that. So yeah, let me know in the comments if you're interested in something like that. So for this doll, I have a aluminium core for the head. It makes it a lot lighter and uses a lot less clay. It also helps with baking, so if the clay is too thick, it won't cure or it won't bake. So I always try to keep it a bit thinner, and that way the clay can bake it. So it was a little bit different of a process this time. I sort of, instead of going my usual process of doing the top half of the mouth and then actually doing the bottom half of the mouth, I thought I would carve it out this time. So I'm just sort of mapping out the area for the beak. The beak is totally different from something I've ever made before. You know, I've made a phoenix and a raven, other birds like that, but a penguin beak is really long and thin, so I thought that I might need an armature for the bill, but it seemed to hold its shape quite well, so I didn't really need to. But you can always reinforce that with some armature or even a thinner piece of aluminium foil. And I'm just sort of subtractive carving the beak area just to get a basic shape, and then I can build up around it and start carving out all the extra details. So for the detailing, I'm using a couple of tools, not too many. I'm using this needle tool, and I'm just mapping out where I want the beak to go, and that way I can build up some details around that area, just making sure it is symmetrical, and always referring back to my reference images that I have on my computer to the left. So yeah, a good handy tip is to always have reference images, do a little bit of research before you start sculpting, and just learn the shape of the doll that you're making. You learn the shape of the head, learn the shape of the feet, whatever you're sculpting. Just yeah, do a little bit of research before you start sculpting. It will really, really help in that department. Alrighty, so I can start working on the shape of the head mainly because I'm happy with the way the beak is looking, and I can also start working on the eye wells. So again, just sort of pressing it in, making a little indentation with my finger, and again going off to my left to refer to the reference images that I have on my computer, making sure everything's symmetrical and the right shape. And then once I'm happy with that, I can just sort of place the eyes into a position where I'm happy with, sort of maneuvering the direction of them, the placement, and adding any little clay bits behind the eyes so I can get that lift. So it looks like the perfect eye well. It's something that I've changed my sculpting over a while. I never used to sculpt like this, but I found it works really well, and it makes it a bit more realistic, and it's a little bit easier to get those the right shape and the right direction of the eyes, and the right sort of symmetry, I guess. But yeah, making sure the eyes are in the right position is really important for this doll, because it ends up, I guess, looking kind of more like an ibis if it's the wrong positioning. So yeah, very, very important. So just spend a bit of time with your eye positioning and making sure they are in line and symmetrical. And you can see I've started building up the eyelid areas using that little snake kind of tool, making eyelids. My eyelids, the way I sculpt is different from what I was doing a little while ago as well, so I'm not really doing such a pronounced eyelid look, so I'm doing a more realistic eyelid look, and I'm really liking the way it's turning out. So yeah, just have a play around and see, what kind of style works for you, and it'll develop over time. And yeah, you'll find something that you like. So once I'm happy with the eyelid area, I can start building up on the brow area, and also the top of the head or the forehead area, to make sure I've got the right little curves and detailing and just stuff like that. Always referring to my reference images again to make sure that the bone structure is correct. And just doing a little bit more refining on the beak area, I am going to be adding faux fur to the back area of the head. So I want that little lip you can get. It's sort of, I want it to look like a lip around the beak area, so where it's sort of joined. It's kind of hard to explain, but where it's joined, you can see it's like a little lip, and I need to raise it a little bit as well. So when I add the faux fur, it won't be off scale, or it won't be too short or stuff like that. So I always raise the area that is going to be exposed, add a little bit more detail to it, a little bit more thickness, and I always make my head a little bit smaller than I want it to look when I add the faux fur. So when you add the faux fur, it adds the pile length to the actual doll, so it's always important to keep that in mind. This is one of my favorite tools to use. It's a little loop tool. I did actually break it the other day, but I did repair it, so I will have a video on making tools and repairing tools over on my Patreon next month, or in November. So yeah, head there if you're interested in learning how to make clay tools or repairing the tools that you broke like I did. So I did a lot of refining on this doll just to make sure everything is looking good and it actually looks like the doll. And because this is a chick, it had to be a little bit different than the adult. So my reference images were from a chick and not an adult, so I had to get that look right. But if it was an adult, it would have to have different sort of features. But yeah, it needed to be a chick for this penguin. Anyway, that is it from me for today. I hope you enjoyed the sculpting video. If you do sculpt some penguins, do let me know. Tag me on Instagram or something, and I can have a look and maybe repost on my stories. Anyway, thanks to my patrons for supporting me. I really appreciate it. If you want to join, link is in the description. You get access to a whole heap of perks and stuff like that. So check it out if you're interested. You can also check me out on Instagram and Facebook at Creatures of Nat and my shop, creaturesofnat.com. And I'll catch you in the next one. Bye!